All right, welcome Prospect Live listeners and viewers. We're back with another 2021 MLB draft interview. In the hot seat today is a favorite, shares an alma mater. I never always screw up that word. I'm just going to keep it because you now know I can't speak. But Kyle Manzardo from Washington State, a fellow Cougar, just like Joe. Andrew Bledsoe.
Andrew Bledsoe.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're stoked to have you on the show. I think Ralph especially has been pounding the drum for you for a while now as one of the quieter, best sleeper hitters in the country.
Yeah, man. I guess for most of my life, I've kind of been under the radar. Not really a ton of offers or anything out of high school, but got a good offer at Washington State and took it. Yeah, I mean, in high school, I was pretty similar as a hitter. I was just so much slower and weaker. So I think the biggest thing for me has just been strength gains in college, and that's kind of, I think, the reason I've kind of blown up a little bit in the last year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else do you want me to go into?
Well, what do you think? What do you think some of the strengths of your? I mean, obviously you can rake. You've shown for years now that you can rake. But aside from the hit tool, what other parts of your game do you like to take a lot of pride in?
I take a lot of pride in my defense, man. I put a lot of work into that, just drills and stuff. Me and TP make sure to get our infield drills that Bergie gave us. We do those every day. I take a lot of pride in my approach too, just because it's kind of something that I've developed a little bit more under Skip, under Coach Green, and it's kind of honestly dependent on the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got quick enough hands to kind of handle a lot of like 90 to 93 mile per hour fastballs. So a lot of times nowadays I just kind of sit soft sometimes.
Sure, that's advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to jump in a little bit because you've, like Joe said, you've hit throughout your career. There seemed to be a pretty big jump this year, even from what we had seen previously. Was there something that you worked on besides strength gains, and maybe that's what it was over sort of the shutdown and into the summer? Is there something that clicked, or is it just a comfort thing? Like, how did you keep yourself from getting rusty? Because I think we're even seeing with some of the best talents that were in college game last year, some guys are a little rusty, it seems, early on. So how did you avoid that?
Yeah, man, when we first got kind of locked down, I think it was me and like 7 other Washington State baseball players. We got a rack and put it in our garage here in Pullman, and we were just like lifting for like 3 hours every day. And we had a little bonehead out back that we would just do tee work on. So I mean, honestly, then I kind of showed up to summer ball in the Northwoods, and I was able to kind of drive balls out of the park. I kind of turned some of the doubles that I hit in 2020 into home runs in summer ball. And yeah, I mean, even this season too, there's a lot of balls, or I guess a couple home runs that I've hit this year that I don't think that there's any way that they get out last year.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of how you burst onto the scene, because I think you have a unique backstory in that, you play high school in tackle and grip with when you were in school.
Not really, just because I mean it's all I really ever knew,
Mm-hmm.
unless I'd go to like showcases and stuff or go do tournaments in like Arizona, and I mean I'd leave and I'd be like, oh man, they're lucky they get to play all year. Whereas we don't really get onto the field in North Idaho until like March, like mid-March usually, just because there's so much snow and rain. But I mean, honestly, to get back to your question, I don't think I ever really noticed, just simply because I didn't know any better.
Sure.
Were you a multi-sport guy in high school, or you just been sort of straight baseball?
I played basketball. I wasn't any good. Me and Cody Colden, our shortstop. We went to the same high school, and he was our point guard. I was a 6'1" power forward, so I was just playing defense and getting rebounds basically.
You're the
How
grinder, I get it.
I want to know, like, I don't want to harp on it, but coming from Coeur d'Alene and ending up at Washington State and having more access to tech, having access to, TrackMan, HitTrax, Rapsodo, some of those different tools. Is that something that you like to incorporate into your game? And how much have you taken advantage of that sort of thing?
I mean, I like the HitTrax. I like to know, or at least like see the growth as far as like exit velocity goes. I've never really worried too much about like launch angle, just because I think I have like some degree of just like natural leverage in my swing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put too much stock into that personally. But I enjoy seeing the TrackMan numbers and stuff from the games that we've been playing this year, because we just got that in. But yeah, I mean, I just like seeing exit velocity growth.
You're a feel guy. You're all about just going up there and letting the talent do the talking.
Yeah, big feel guy.
Yeah,
good stuff. Change of pace question here a little bit. You played summer ball. Obviously, you've gotten some games in, of course, with this season as well. Who are the best arms that you faced? Is there anybody that stands out? Are there a couple?
I mean, Kevin Abel was pretty real. I think right away my mind goes to Luke Albright, I believe, from Kent State, maybe. I played him this summer. When I saw him, he was sitting like 95 with a pretty real 4-pitch mix. And I hadn't really seen a real 4-pitch mix like that. So I mean, I was always off balance, and then he'd blow me away with the heater if he felt like it.
How did you fare? How did you adapt to seeing something like that for the first time? Is it something that you picked up on quickly?
Against him specifically?
Or just, being introduced to different arms from around the country at the Northwoods League and seeing bigger stuff, seeing bigger arsenals. How do you think you performed in terms of adapting to maybe needing to sit on something different?
I think the biggest change probably was I ended up kind of trying to shorten up my swing, kind of see the ball as long as I could, and make a late decision. And yeah, I mean, I'd try to make late decisions and be quick to the ball, and kind of just drive the middle, I guess.
Nice, absolutely. I'll sort of switch it up here. Who's the guy that's on your team that, just in terms of work ethic or skills, is there somebody that stands out that's just like, this is a dude, or even somebody maybe from the last couple of years that you've sort of modeled yourself after? Is there anybody like that sort of sticks out?
I mean, I just met Tristan Peterson this year, man, but just his demeanor and his work ethic is it's pretty inspiring. Just the way he goes about his business every day, never complains, kind of shows up and just does what he does every day. So he's somebody that I look up to in that sense. Another guy would be Cody. I mean, I've known Cody Colden my whole life, and he's having a good year this year, and it's definitely not by accident. He's worked as hard as anybody for as long as I've known him, like even since we were little, so it's another guy I really look up to.
I know that you're a small town guy. You like to stay in a bubble, but is it hard for you not to look forward a little bit with seeing your name in articles and seeing your name talked about as, maybe the next level? I mean, is it tough to kind of stay grounded?
I mean, it can be, but I mean, I really try to kind of be where my feet are and kind of stay in the present moment, worry about getting better today, and then tomorrow I'll worry about getting better then. And it's all kind of happened so fast for me. I didn't really have anything like this in high school, really, or even like my freshman year, really. So
Yeah.
just trying to live day to day, I think, has been pretty helpful.
I mean, a 2020 season would have been very helpful in ramping you up slowly.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little tough. I'm going to steal a question that Joe usually throws out there. Have you done any draft interviews thus far with any teams?
Like meeting with like Zooms?
Yeah, Zoom meetings and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I did a good amount over winter break.
Awesome. The question that Joe always likes to throw out there, I'm going to steal from you, Joe. What's the strangest question you've heard? Because we have heard some odd ones that have come up in some of those interviews.
Strangest question. Oh man. I had one team. I forget even what the question was, but it was something. It's not even really a weird question, but I got asked like if I had any weird superstitions, and I kind of just said like no, not really. And they were like, okay, well we got to ask because I mean some dude's like eating a jar of peanut butter, and like he named off like all these weird superstitions, and I was just like, oh, yeah, no man, I'm not really like that.
Why does it always revolve around peanut butter with these drafts?
I don't know. It gets brought up. There must be a team out there where the guy has a peanut butter fetish because it seems like it comes up in 15 different questions we've got.
I bet you anything is the Brewers.
I don't think it was the Brewers. I haven't heard from the Brewers.
All right, Kyle. I got a couple more questions for you as far as just moving forward, like what's next. So, big season this year for the Cougs. You guys are doing things that, frankly, Washington State hasn't done in a long time. But come July, you're going to have a decision to make. So I want to know, in the next 3 or 4 months, how are you looking to grow? How are you looking to develop?
I'd say I want to continue to get better at pulling the ball to right field, like in the air, because I kind of tend to hit a lot of like hard line drives through the 4-hole, and I just kind of know that if I get them in the air, then they'll go over the fence. So that's one area I want to keep growing in. Right now, my main focus is kind of getting healthy and getting ready for Stanford. But I mean, I'd like to keep getting quicker too. Just
all right.
give me an extra step or two at first base.
Yeah. All right, I got one more question for you. In terms of your future employer, whoever drafts you, is there a quality about that team or about that player development system or about that culture that you think would especially benefit you? Something that you think would be good for your growth?
Nothing crazy comes to mind, man. I just want somebody that really does believe in me and kind of trusts that I can grow and become a great player. So I mean, it's kind of where my priorities are at.
Perfectly said. I think that's a perfect answer. Joe, if you don't have any other questions, I don't have any other questions. Kyle, thank you for joining us today, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season. And then come July, I hope you find the correct future employer.
Wait, thanks, guys. I appreciate this.